Hey gang, it's Bob Bannister from CGCM Rock Radio, bringing you another edition of Rock Talk in conjunction with Rock Is Not Dead Australia. And hey, while we're at it, before we get into things, why don't you click that like, share, and subscribe button and let us know what's going on and leave your comments as well. Maybe there's somebody you'd like us to talk to. We'll see what we can do about that. Now, this time around, we're catching up with a guy by the name of Geoff O'Leary. He comes to us from a band called Piston Fist. This was a new discovery for me. Boy, these guys are really, really fantastic. Again, another act from the X label and or the X music label, I should say. Sorry, Tim. And boy, what a great guy this guy is. And stay tuned to the end of the interview. He has something very, very interesting to say that I think you'll be very interested in, guys. Please. So, without further ado, let's step into the Rock Talk studio and have a chat with the one, the only Geoff O'Leary from Piston Fist, right here on Rock Talk. All right, Rockaholics, and as promised, we are joined by Geoff O'Leary from the band Piston Fist, joining us today from Brisbane, Australia. How you doing, my friend?
Very, very good, Bob. Appreciate you taking the time to have a chat, mate. Thanks very much.
You're quite welcome. Always great to catch up with some new acts, new to me anyway, new to us here in Canada. And I understand that that Piston Fist is quite an established band in Australia.
Yeah, mate. We've been around for a little while. We're 7 years deep now. One full length release, a ton of singles, and we've been touring pretty consistently. So yeah, we've done the miles a little bit. Yeah.
There you go. And I got to say, I've gone back through your catalog, absolutely loving it, especially the latest, The Road. That is an amazing track. Tell us the story of The Road. Is there
Oh,
a story to
excellent.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I write a lot of our stuff. I wrote the riffs for that particular track, and we have the other guys mold and things like that. But most of it was written lyrically while we did a 6 week run in the UK and through Europe, and that's what the song's about. We'd like to be touring all the time, and we can't, so we actually miss going on the road sometimes. It's although it's hard work and it's tiring, and the headaches are all there and they're all real, but we absolutely love it. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole box of what that song's about, touring.
And what would you say is speaking of which, is the best part of touring?
That's a hard question because there's so many good things. Meeting people in other countries. We haven't been lucky enough yet to get to Canada and the States. We're working on it, but money and things are hard. But I think, yeah, meeting some of them people in Europe, it was amazing. The people are just so generous and so, I don't know, like it's so much different than back home. We have to work so hard in Australia to get shows, to get paid, and our states, our major cities
Mhm.
are 14 hours that way. Where in Europe, you're in another country in an hour or two. So that was really, really good. But yeah, playing live, meeting people, hanging out with other bands, meeting other bands, it's all good. And as we all love coming home as well.
Mm.
It's after 6 weeks in a little tiny van, you tend to look forward to coming home. Yeah.
Exactly. And you touched on something there about how, within an hour you can be in another country in Europe, and how spread out Australia is. Canada's the same way. So is the US. I mean, sure, I'm 3 hours north of Toronto, but that's three hours to get there. And then if I want to go to say Montreal,
Yeah,
there's another what 10, 12 hours to get to Montreal. So
yeah, yeah. That's some big distances sitting in a car.
absolutely, absolutely. So give us a little bit more of the backstory of Piston Fist, just in case any of the listeners want to dig a little more.
Okay, so I'm a drummer. I played in a metal band called D9 over here in Australia for a long
Hmm.
time. We pulled the pin and we had a little, myself and a couple of mates had a little jamming thing that we did on Sunday afternoons. We'd make a barbecue. Our kids were the same age, so they could hang out. We gave mum a rest.
There you go.
And we did that. And one of the boys wrote a song which actually turned into Home,
Okay.
one of our first releases. And he said, "Hey, Jeff, I think your voice will suit this." And I had a bit of a laugh because I did a lot of backups in these other bands. And anyway, we started out as a bit of fun on a Sunday afternoon, and now we're touring and we've got a full length under the bag, and we're chasing another one at the moment. We're doing a whole bunch of writing and yeah, trying to push forward, trying to tour lots. The grind that is rock and roll.
So what as a drummer, what would you say is the biggest challenge then to being a drummer and a vocalist?
Um, I think being up front,
Yeah.
being up the front, definitely owning the crowd, putting on a performance, not just hiding behind a drum kit. I always used to carry on behind that drum kit and, um, bang my head and flick sticks and all the fun stuff. So there was a little bit, but the comparison when you're actually up the front and our first few songs I played guitar on as well, and I'm not a guitarist by any means, but we didn't want a big band, so I just went, oh, I'll pick up the guitar, and so I had to learn to sing and play guitar at the same time. So them first few shows were extremely daunting, um, but at the same time, I enjoyed it, and I learned a hell of a lot. I love to write riffs, and I love playing guitar. I love playing drums, so I do a lot of writing just here at home. I've got a small studio set up, so it's I put myself in a good little position to be able to do that. And COVID was amazing for that. I actually got time to write, and I really. I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed COVID because time. I work very, very hard, so it was nice to have some, you know, guilt-free time off.
So is that
Yeah.
what the creative process for Piston Fist is like? You come into the band meeting with, hey guys, I got this riff, I got this lyric, or is it more you guys sit around together and write?
Yeah, no, I generally, the other boys write as well, but I do a good amount of it. But yeah, I'll actually write, maybe a 75% finished song, drums with it and the guitars, and I'll put down some really rough track vocals and take them in and go, here, let's rip this to pieces and put it together as a unit kind of thing. I don't want to be a one-man band. I like us all to have input and I like us to be a bit of a unit if we can. Um, but it's hard to do. There is a lot of as you know, you've interviewed bands for a long, long time. There's a lot of work involved in just organizing a band and running things, and I do a hell of a lot of it. Um, and I'd love for the boys to do a little bit more, but this is rock and roll, and we just got to get it done.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's the same way with doing internet radio. I mean, I've been in the professional radio business for over 30 years, and now just getting into the internet radio and whatnot. And you team up with a bunch of guys, and then next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, Bob, you write the commercial, you produce the commercial, you voice the commercial, you put it on the air, you get the music for it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll stand behind you and pat you on the back and say, well done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
at least, yeah, we at least you get a well done, and the boys appreciate it, and I
Oh,
appreciate them as well. Without a band, you're not much of a band.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're a solo artist.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And no, thank you. No, thanks.
So what's been the biggest challenge so far for Piston Fist?
I would say, yeah, getting overseas,
Yeah.
getting out of Australia, because our cities are quite a long way away. It's really we're in Brisbane. Our home base is Brisbane, and it's really easy to overplay Brisbane.
Mm.
There is a little I'll see them guys next time because I'll be here in another month or so. So we actually need to knock back shows quite consistently so that we can build up that client or the base of fans that want to come back because they haven't heard us in a little while. So we need to travel, and that touring is by far the hardest thing for us to do. We're a remote country, and Brisbane, Sydney's the closest to Brisbane, and it's about 14 hours away, and then you've got Melbourne, that's another kind of 5 or 6 hours after that. So definitely, definitely travel and the expense involved. Oh man, if I'm honest, it's money. We do this 100% for love.
Hmm.
We love to do it, but we also love to grow, and we want to get on the European festival tours, and we want to get over to the States, and we want to get to Canada, and all of these amazing places that we want to go to. But when you're not getting paid a massive amount to play shows, and you're not selling a huge amount of merch, we do okay with stuff, but it's not getting five of us and our gear onto a plane and accommodation and all of them things that need to be taken care of in the States or in Canada. But we are working on it. We've been signed by a label called X Music, and
Hmm.
they're helping us out, and they're doing a few things for us. And we've been invited to quite a few festivals in Europe mostly. But again, we're just saving them pennies to make it happen.
Hmm. And speaking of which, Tim's a really good guy. He set me up with several interviews, and big tip of the
Yep,
hat to him
absolutely.
and the gang
Thank you very much,
from
Tim.
X. And speaking of which, though, I mean, like X Music is a smaller label, but it just seems like the big massive labels like your Warner and your Sony and whatnot, they're not interested in developing new talent these days. So that's where everybody kind of loses out, isn't it?
That's exactly right. You've got to be pushing so hard, and there's quite a steep hill to
Mm-hmm.
climb to just even put yourself in front of these guys. It's really a huge effort. But again, that's where the line is. Like we love it. We absolutely love it. I love going tour with these guys, their family, all of that sort of stuff. So we don't have any real real massive need to have to get signed by a major label or anything like that. Tim's family, it's a small label, and he gives a shit. That's super important for us. And just for that same fact again, we absolutely love playing shows, and mate, I really like rehearsing. I like going into the room, and I like all of them things about it because in the room there's no pressure. I really can, we can be silly. We can try different things. The sound's always right. There's all of them. We can have a couple of beers and kick back. There's no pressure. I really like that kind of thing. So it's not. It's definitely for us not about fame and fortune and blah blah blah. It is about playing music. I absolutely love it. I get quite disappointed if, or, no, it doesn't kill me. But if somebody can't make rehearsal, I'm like, oh, I love plugging in and being a noisy bugger. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. And speaking of plugging in and playing and being a noisy bugger, listening to your stuff, I hear a little bit of Motorhead. I hear a little bit of Black Label Society. Where do you draw your influences from?
That's a very hard question to answer. There is so many. I'm like personally, I'm obviously a Motorhead fan. I love Pantera, Down. That's my era.
Hmm.
That's where I grew up. I'm a big Machine Head fan.
Oh yeah.
Our bass player is originally a blues and roots guy. He's very bluesy, and he sits down with a guitar and just shreds blues beautifully, and he's a great bass player. But he's come from that kind of background. Our drummer's a little bit more maybe new metally Deftones, still heavy rock. So we've all got different influences, definitely. Our lead guitarist Jimmy, he's just a ridiculous shredder, and him and Dimebag, I feel like he's all about Dimebag, and yeah, so all of them things. I grew up with AC/DC. This is Australia, Aussie rock. There
Yeah.
is a good amount of that Aussie rock, Rose Tattoo kind of thing. We just got an email from a band called Heaven. I don't know if you remember Heaven, but they were a heavy rock band from Australia. They toured with AC/DC. Dave Evans, one of the original bass players for AC/DC, was in Heaven. But we
Okay.
might be doing a little, yeah, we might be doing a little run of shows with them guys over here in Australia. I look very forward to that. As a young man, I was all about that Aussie rock, so that should be a bit of fun. But yeah, we draw influences from everywhere. Crowbar, you know, Corrosion of Conformity, I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of. Even Clutch, like so
Right.
many, so much. Yeah, just yeah, I could sit here and name names forever, and it happens. I'll listen to a riff one day and go, oh, I need to write something similar to that. It's so cool, and it might be one day it might be Slayer, and the next day it could be Clutch. It's very very diverse, and we've been booked with a bunch of very diverse bands. We've been over here. We got booked with a band called the Paw, which are very Aussie pub rock. It's
Mhm.
rock and roll as it comes. They play a lot of shows with Rose Tattoo, and we've been booked with Thy Art Is Murder, which is quite extremely on the other end of the scale. Very very ridiculously heavy metalcore. So yeah, but I would definitely not like to pigeonhole us at all.
No, you can't do that. No. But it
Yeah,
seems to me though that the Australian rock scene is just absolutely on fire. I mean, I look around here in Canada and we're doing okay. But I look at Australia, I look at Europe. Well, Europe is a whole other animal unto itself, but Australia seems to be on fire right now with
yeah.
rock scene.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bands that are quality, very quality. They have been in the room, they've been rehearsing, they've been refining. They're definitely very good. A young band called Avalanche. They are
Yes.
smashing. Yeah, very AC/DC, very rock and roll, and really nice people too. Really cool. Yeah, there is an absolute ton, and I love it. And what we do have that we haven't had, I've been playing music in bands for a very, very, very long time. And I feel like it's closer now than it ever has been here in Australia, where people are getting and giving leg ups at any opportunity. That we're really much tighter than what it was, maybe back in the 90s or whatever, where it
Mm.
was a little bit. I feel like I don't want to say the word cutthroat, but it was a bit nasty, Even though I suppose I was probably a bit younger then, and I might have, maybe I even had a little bit of a bad attitude as a young wannabe rock and roller. But it's I feel like it, and again, it might be my age and I'm getting older, and I'm trying to kind of help people or something like that. But it definitely feels closer and more family now. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's really good.
Hmm. And that's the thing I hear from a lot of artists is the fostering of the next generation, the up and comers. And one guy that I was talking to there a few weeks ago from Halifax, Nova Scotia, here in Canada, was
Yep.
saying that the one thing that they don't get that they should have is venues that it can be all ages where you might have like the 16-year-olds that have their band, they want to go see their buddies who are like 21, they're able to get into the bars but they can't get into the
Yeah.
bars.
Oh
It,
yeah.
is that the way
Yeah.
that it should be or
Yeah, I believe so. Like you know, we've got festivals and we've got big shows. AC/DC are here tonight.
mm,
Metallica were just here, and that age range at them shows is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. There's 8-year-old kids with shirts on, doing these ones, knowing the words to the songs, rocking out with dad. And it happens everywhere. So I believe it should happen in our local shows. We do a few all ages. We really haven't done enough. But I absolutely love it when we get the opportunity to play in all ages. My kids used to come to our all ages back in the day. Now they're young adults and they couldn't give much of a stuff about that. But I absolutely love it. It's great and it's so good. It's a special thing when Dad's there with his son or his daughter and they're rocking out together, or mum for that matter.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Hmm. Now, one of our sponsors here on CGCM Rock Radio is Iron Maiden Trooper Beer.
Oh,
And as everyone knows, Yannick, the third guitarist, is the guy that, will fall off the stage or drop his guitar or trip.
yeah,
We call
yeah.
those the Yannick moments. Have you guys had any Yannick moments on stage?
Oh my gosh, we played a festival this year. Um, it was called Thrashville. It
Right.
was a great festival, really good lineup. I think King Parrot were the headliners. We So I've got a bad right knee. I played rugby league over here in Australia, and my
Okay.
right knee's been busted for a long time. But my left knee went out. I snapped a ligament first song.
Oh.
Yeah, first chorus, and I went down like a big bag of poo. Um, but I finished the set. But yeah, that is as Yannick as it gets. It wasn't from a couple of beers. It was from a snapped ligament, and it was again. This was out the back of New South Wales, so it was about a 13-hour drive. So I had to hobble back to the car and drive home after that. It was not a good time.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh, as a former flooring installer, like I did that years and years and years ago. I feel your pain literally.
yeah, 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 yeah. Knees are a badly designed
Oh
piece of
yeah.
it.
So before we wrap this up, I like to do a little thing we call this or that. It's just some rapid fire top of the head questions, nothing to do with music, just a little bit of fun.
Okay, let's
All right,
go.
let's go. Book or movie?
Sorry,
Book or movie?
movie,
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix,
Pizza or burger?
burger,
Beer or wine?
beer,
City living or country life?
country life.
And finally, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. All right. Geoff O'Leary from Brisbane from Piston Fist. Take just a few seconds, self promote the band, and give us a little roundup of the band.
Hey guys, Jeffro here from Piston Fist. We're a heavy rock, heavy metal band here in Brisbane, Australia. You can find all of our things on YouTube, Spotify, all the things, all the socials. Um, yeah, jump in, give us a like, give us a follow, and do me a favor and look after your mates. We promote mental health. We promote looking after each other. So please, over here in Australia, the actual rates and the numbers for suicide in young men and old men is really, really large. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we promote very hard to please talk to friends, talk to doctors, and if you have the ability to listen, if somebody's trying to talk to you, please listen. Help each other out. Look after your mates. Rock and roll. Cheers.
Awesome. Thank you again, Jeffro, for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk, my friend.
All good. Thank you very, very much for taking the time and having me, Bob. I appreciate it very much. It was a good chat.
You're quite welcome, and I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk as well. Don't forget, click that like, share, and subscribe, and join us again next time for another edition with CGCM Rock Radio.